Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media, and we're doing a special edition of the community show here from Sound Station Chula Vista Elementary School District, one of many stations. We had heard from Michael Bruder, the Director of Innovation, earlier, talking about they got sound stations at the Discovery Center. We got them in the libraries, got them all over the place. This one here is going to be focused on music, focused on podcasting and everything in between. Honored to have in the studio with us today Dr. Eduardo Reyes, the Superintendent of the Chula Vista Elementary School District. How are you doing there, Dr. Reyes?
Very happy to be here.
Well, in full discovery here, you're not supposed to have favorites. We have favorites. And really are honored to have you join the Classroom in the Future Foundation Board. You've been an amazing addition to it already in your very first meeting. Your support of Cloudcast Media certainly is really appreciative. All of it focused on something that's the most important is those students that are in this great district. And I know you're so proud of that and proud of the great work that goes on. So just thank you very much for being a great supporter of all this. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's supporting the right work.
Exactly. So this all started, Cloudcast Media, and getting involved with you folks when in March of 2022, my goodness, 18 months ago, maybe even longer than that, when you were interviewed in our Future Pathways Superintendent's Unplugged show with then Assistant Superintendent Matt Tessier, who now works with us at the San Diego County Office of Education. And I'll never forget this. You're doing this great interview, and you're all geeked up about all the stations, and you talked about the sound station. Of course, my toupee almost flew off, and of course, I don't have a toupee, but if I did, it would have flown off. And I said, I can't wait until my business partner, the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, is back in town and meets you, because this aligns beautifully what we want to do at Cloudcast Media with Schoolcast and getting kids involved. And here we are over 18 months later, thanks to your leadership, the great work of Michael Bruder, Director of Innovation, and everybody that has been affiliated with it. I'm sitting around this beautiful room that when we saw this over a year ago wasn't so beautiful, was it?
There's been a lot of work done to it.
It is just absolutely gorgeous. How proud are you of this?
Incredibly proud. It's just doing this work and being part of this amazing district. It's truly an honor. Truly an honor to not just support and help and serve our amazing students, but work with amazing staff. Amazing staff that is truly, when we talk about staff, we always try to hire people with experience and with the right educational background, the right experience. That you get. But to hire someone that also is genuinely passionate about supporting students and doing the right work, that's very unique. And we have that here.
And it's so evident by all the interviews we did today, and really appreciate Michael teeing those up. But every single person that was on had that same passion. Didn't realize that the Omar that Michael had teed up, I had been friends with for quite a while when he was in San Ysidro School District. And he just sat there and just said exactly what you mentioned. He goes, I go to work, but what can I do above and beyond just going to work? And every one of those, it certainly just oozes out of him. Talk about how important these stations are, and we'll end up with sound stations. But you got stations all throughout the district, correct?
Yes. So when we look at education, especially elementary school education, we think, especially if we look at the traditional concept of education, we're thinking, well, we have to make sure that our students learn to read. The first 3-4 years, they learn to read, and then they read to learn, that they do the math, the history, etc. So that's the concept that we all have, especially growing up. That's the way we used to learn. But education is much more than that. Education is about providing students opportunities for them to discover their own potential. And that we do through activities and through experiences that go beyond the textbook. And so the innovation stations, or our stations, provide students an opportunity for them to do some self-discovery. What are their interests? What are their strengths? What are some of the things that, or possibly is how they see themselves in the future? And even if they don't take that route, we're planting a seed of interest, of curiosity, and that's where creativity develops, critical thinking, teamwork, a lot of the skills that we need, not only as students, elementary school students, but middle school, high school, college, but also in life. And so the whole idea is for students to have discover themselves in different environments, doing different things, but especially and particularly discovering their own strengths.
And, we were just talking about that when Michael opened up the interviews today. And I've been around for 1 billion years. And one of the things I've always really embraced when I was working at city schools was this focus on the student. What a shock, right? And trying to talk about what they are interested in, not what we're interested in as adults, is what the kids are interested in. And that's what you folks do. The stations are all about that. You do the 4th grade interest survey, for God's sake, which is spectacular. And what's nice about it is that, they may change their mind in 2 months, in 2 minutes, and whatever, like adults do in that aspect of it. And when you establish that culture in this district, as you have and your predecessors have, and you're very quick to give great kudos to Frankie Escobedo, of course, and to Matt Tessier and everybody, in between. It's got to be great for these kids when they see this and they're going from station to station. Talk about how, when you talk to these students, how much they're embracing this.
Well, if you think back when you were in elementary school or even middle school or high school.
Right.
I mean, do you truly remember that math lesson where you learn how to add fractions? We don't. We remember 2 things. 1, how we felt or how a teacher made us feel. And 2, something that we actually did, practice, implemented, that project that we did, that activity where we worked with our friends, our classmates, that field trip where we actually went and saw how things worked. When I remember they would take us to a factory and see how things were being produced. Those are the things that we remember. And so the whole idea of the stations is exactly that, for them to take away an experience that remains with them. Whether they, like I said before, whether they follow the path or not, that experience opens up their minds and hearts to other experiences.
Without question, we are chatting with Dr. Eduardo Reyes. He's the superintendent of the venerable Chula Vista Elementary School District. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We're the nation's longest running community podcast. Now in our 17th year, we're doing a special remote edition from Chula Vista Elementary School District Sound Station. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. They do great things in San Diego and have been for more than 60 years. When you talk about my experiences, I went right back to something in 1 second. It was the Helms Bakery Tour. Now, I grew up in L.A., and so every year we got to go to the Helms Bakery. We loved it, 1, because we weren't in the classroom, and B, we got to smell the bread being made and all that. But you're 100% correct. And these kids, I think I was talking to Michael about this, and of course Mark and Vapa and Joshua Community Schools, and Omar and Lelaine, is that these kids that have the benefit of working with you folks, especially in these stations, are going to remember this forever. They're going to be in college. They're going to be with their own families. They're going to be, Grandpa, what do you remember about school? Hey, I got a chance to do X, Y, and Z. And I think that is absolutely just so spot on in that aspect of it. So a sound station, Dr. Reyes, are you prepared now to be interviewed by all the students here at Chula Vista Elementary School that come through the sound station?
I'm looking forward to it.
You might have to have a second office here. And so, because, Michael was telling me this, what type the trajectory will be and so forth on this. Talk about how the parents are embracing this shift that you folks have to focus on the student.
Well, parents, I'm glad you mentioned parents, because parents is they're always part of the equation, right? This work, the education, it's not done in isolation. We need parents, we need students, we need educators, we need the community, we need partners. And so our parents are a very important partnership that we have, and they're very excited because when their students, their children, come through our stations, our sound station, and they go back and say, well, son, daughter, how was your day? And they get to share some of the things that they experienced. Many times there are things that either they would have liked to experience themselves or have not experienced. And it opens up a really nice dialogue at the dinner table. To be sharing those experiences and having that conversation back and forth of how was their day and how they're able to talk about something that is way beyond the normal classroom experience. Something that is really interesting in education is that if you think about educational system across the world, we always do it from the lens of the adults. We do research, we read textbooks, we get degrees, and we know about education, and so we implement education based on what we've learned. And sometimes we get disconnected from the view and the lens and the perspective of the students. This does exactly that. This takes it back to, as a child, as a 10-year-old, what would I like to see? What would I like to experience? And experience things, for example, that they see on TV, that they listen to on the radio, things that they might see on the internet where they're interested in certain professions. Now they get to actually experience that and have activities where they are themselves doing the interview in a podcast, or they're actually learning how to play an instrument, or learning about how to edit or create music, etc. That is powerful, and that you take home, and that you can have additional conversations with not just parents, but also other family members.
Right. We come back from break, Dr. Reyes, want to chat about so many things that are coming out of these stations. One is the collaboration of the students themselves in a room now. Maybe they know the folks that are in the room with them, or they don't have connected with some of their classmates. Now they're working on these projects. And then something that's quite evident when we've been doing these interviews in the special edition, really, credit, as you mentioned earlier, to the staff here. You guys all work together. You guys are all rowing in the same direction, and you're doing it because it's the right thing to do, as you mentioned, and the good thing. I want to talk about that, too. It takes a special district and teachers to do that when we return with Dr. Eduardo Reyes. He's the superintendent of the Chula Vista Elementary School District. I'm Drew Schlosberg, Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Spotlight on the Community. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you're listening to another special edition of Spotlight on the Community. We're here at Chula Vista Elementary School District's sound station, one of 5 sound stations. Was that 5 or 6? How many do you guys have stations in San Diego?
5.
You have 5. Okay, this is one of 5. Very good. This is Sound Station. You got some at the Living Coast Discovery Center. You got stuff in a couple libraries. Talk about health and all that. And this one here is focusing on music. It's focusing on sound. It's focusing on podcast and so ever. Talk about the experience that these students have, at these different stations. Obviously, we're asking them what they're interested in, but how do they collaborate? How do they work in teams at these different stations, or do they?
Correct. So here they have the opportunity to work both on projects by themselves, but they do a lot of work in collaboration. Take podcasting. It's not a one-person show.
It's not.
Right? Just right now, you and I.
Right.
You're interviewing, and I'm the interviewee.
Right.
But there was also someone that helped set up all this equipment. And there's somebody else that helped write maybe some of the questions. And there's somebody else that helped with the sound. And so a lot of different roles. And everyone needs to be working together and in sync for this to happen. That's the power of the collaboration in our stations, especially in the sound station.
Right, and it's going to be so cool when you start having all of the students ginned up on this. My producer, Erin Tanner, has been phenomenal. She's great at social media. She's good at taking photos. She's good at video. That's a whole different role. And, our engineers that are back at Icon, they're out putting this stuff together. And then we have a whole team that once they get it put together, they're sending it out to these people. I know nothing. I really don't. I barely know how two tin cans and a string work, for God's sake. But you're right. And when this thing is up full and running, you're going to have 6 or 7 people all doing disparate jobs. And then you're going to have the ones go, listen, I've done enough of the social media. When do I get to behind the microphone? Okay, sir. Okay, you get to now do the interviewing, and you'll take a step over here. So when they each have that expertise on doing different aspects of the podcast, tell me how valuable that's going to be when they work for a company. And as my business partner and the CEO and founder of Cloudcast, Charles Parisi, says, it's not going to be too far down the future that every business is going to be doing podcasting. Whether you're a 10-person vacuum repair shop or you are someone that you have the ability to do this with the equipment on that. I think that's terrific. You talked about this a little bit, but I'm just so impressed with your team and your staff, especially the ones here. These guys get along and they collaborate just beautifully.
Well, here's the secret. The secret is having people that all have the same belief, which is, we're in education. Let's truly believe, genuinely believe in doing what's right for students, right? The how, we get to figure out by ourselves, together as a team. But we know where we want to go. We know where we need to go, where we need to be. And we're all in the same boats. And everybody has a different oar. And we're all going at the same to the same goal. And so when you have that, it's that's true collaboration. When the ideas that people share or bring to the table, they're not competing ideas, but they're ideas how to better or faster reach the destination. You mentioned something with students and collaborating. One of the things that I think is important to also share is that when you have that team of 6 or 7 people all doing different things towards a common goal, not one role is more important than the other. They're all equally important because without any one of those roles, the production wouldn't happen, right? So that is it's really important for students to learn that. And the other key component is that when, and as you mentioned it, once they learn how to do one skill, they might try something else, and then they might find that they're really good at it or that they really like it. So stepping out of their comfort zone, students, is so powerful because then that's when the self-discovery begins.
Without question. We're chatting with Dr. Eduardo Reyes, the Superintendent of Chula Vista Elementary School District. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to a special edition of Spotlight on the Community here at Chula Vista Elementary School District Sound Station. So, moving forward, you got these great stations. Are you going to open up? You got 5 of them now. Are there others to be opened up in the future?
We're very excited to be, yes, we have plans.
Okay.
More.
Right. And is it based on, when we were talking to Michael Bruder again, Director of Innovation for the district about this, and what's the beauty of it? All these are tied to careers and pathways and so forth, and you guys are laser beamed on that aspect of it, Dr. Reyes. And again, thank you, Frankie Escobedo, and all the people that came, before in that area. But you certainly take a look at the trends, right? Whether it's working with the workforce partnership or working with the chambers to see which of the jobs are going to be growing in this region and which of the ones will certainly be slowing down, correct?
Absolutely. So we got to look at, and not for next year.
That's right.
We're looking at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now. Where are we going to be? So we do have to work with our partners and for example, workforce partners, to find out not only where we're going to be, but then what is the new technology that's going to be in place, and creating those partnerships that will support the work that we want to do. But the other part is what are some of the students' interests? Again, from the lens of students, and how to best implement our stations that support their interests.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been talking quite a bit on our Spotlight show are, those jobs that pay very handsomely, but there is just such a shortage of folks. Cybersecurity is one of them. Cybersecurity jobs are paying way into the 6 figures, and there are just not enough people doing it. And the thing I always like to talk about that aspect of it, you don't need to be a coder to be into cybersecurity. What you need are folks like you're a very capable person in communications that's taking photos over here. You need media folks. You need lawyers. You need graphic designers. You need marketers, and so forth. And talk about what's so important about what they're learning at the stations is that it's just not this one aspect of it. There's 4 million aspects of different jobs in the different areas.
That's a great point, because we always look at the direct labor or the direct impact, but we have so many indirect jobs. And many times the indirect jobs are many more than the direct jobs. We see that in every single aspect, from production to tech. I mean, you name it.
Well, I'm going to give you the poster child of this because I say it all the time. As you know, I worked for San Diego Union Tribune for many, many years, was in charge of community and public relations, and was the spokesperson. But at our heyday, we had 2,100 people or something to that effect. Only 1/6 of those folks were writers and reporters. 5/6 of that company, we were one of the biggest companies in San Diego, had nothing to do with reporting. We were selling the paper, we were advertising, we were marketing the paper, we were delivering the paper, we were running the finances. 5/6 of the people at that paper had nothing to do with writing. And that gets to the point in there. Well, I'm not a good writer. Well, yeah, but don't you like to draw? Don't you like to have graphics and all that? And that's what's so cool about what you guys are teaching at all these stations is that, listen, you all have some ability to do something you like, okay? And you can do that. Dr. Reyes, what can our folks do? What can our listeners, Spotlight and community listeners, do to support your efforts?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to recognize the amazing work that everyone here at Chula Vista Elementary School District, they do every single day. I do have to say that many times our amazing teachers, our educators, sometimes they don't get the recognition that they should. And so I think first recognizing the great work, how they go above and beyond to support their passion, which is students. I think that's very important, recognizing that work. But also to make sure that they promote by they promote our efforts by talking to others, by ensuring that, talking to their children as they send their children through the stations, to talk to them about their experience, to talk to them about asking them questions. How was your day? How did it work? But also, if we have community members out there or business partners, to reach out. The work, like I said before, cannot be done in isolation. We absolutely need partners that can support us in many different ways. Like you said, it doesn't need to be a specific area. We have so many different partners that understand the need to support students, and we can just, by having a conversation, we can see how we can make this even a better station or stations.
Well, listen, you folks are doing a great job. It's good seeing you again. I'm honored to call you friend and colleague for many different reasons. Dr. Reyes, wishing you and your wonderful team, those teachers that for 182 plus days closed that door and got those wonderful students in there, and everyone that supports it, nothing but great success. And we're going to look forward to having you back on and make a return appearance, chatting about other cool things in the district. How's that sound?
Yeah, and I also want to thank you for your time, and I'm truly thankful for the amazing partnership that we have. And I know that our students are truly, they're truly blessed in having partners like you with us, because the experiences that they're getting will make a difference.
Well, listen, it's our pleasure and an honor to do it. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We've been chatting with Dr. Eduardo Reyes, Superintendent of the Chula Vista Elementary School District. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.